my sister, my fiancé, and a wedding day showdown. The explosive truth revealed. I unearthed a nightmare during my engagement party, a betrayal so profound it shattered my world. I discovered my fiancé entangled with my own sister, a moment etched in my memory with searing clarity. To further twist the knife, my parents, upon witnessing my devastation, implored me to bury the truth, to shield my sister's reputation at the expense of my own heart. I am Elena, a tenured professor at a prestigious Northeastern university, and I'm still grappling with the fallout from that catastrophic event and its aftermath. I need to recount the events, to dissect them, and perhaps, to find some semblance of closure. To fully understand the magnitude of what unfolded, it's essential to know the twisted dynamics within my family. Lisa, my sister, has always been the undisputed darling of our parents. She effortlessly transitioned into the media industry, becoming a familiar face on local television. In stark contrast, I dedicated myself to years of rigorous research, pouring my soul into academic articles. My parents never missed an opportunity to shower Lisa with praise, highlighting her gregarious nature and undeniable success. The favoritism was a palpable, ever-present force during my formative years. Lisa was granted every advantage, with our parents readily financing her theatrical classes. I, on the other hand, was encouraged to make do with what was available when I needed equipment for my science projects. This disheartening trend persisted throughout our lives. The only beacon of encouragement in my pursuit of academic excellence was my paternal grandmother, Martha. Elena, she would often say, you possess a gift in your mind. Never allow anyone to dim your light. While my parents were captivated by Lisa's television appearances, Grandma Martha joined me in celebrating the publication of my first research paper in a renowned magazine. Driven by unwavering determination, I excelled in my field, eventually becoming one of the youngest female professors in my department. It wasn't the life my parents envisioned for me, but I had built a life of which I was undeniably proud. Then, at an academic conference, I met David. He was intelligent, engaging, and possessed an uncanny ability to understand me. After 2 years of dating, I was overjoyed when David proposed. My parents' reaction, well, at least you won't be alone with your books anymore. Even more telling was Lisa's response, delivered with the same patronizing air she'd possessed since childhood. At last, she exclaimed, I was concerned you wouldn't find someone who could tolerate your intensity. The engagement celebration was held at my parents' home, and Lisa insisted on taking charge of the arrangements. In reality, her assistance largely consisted of imposing her own preferences and critiquing my choices. She began frequenting our home with increasing regularity, often arriving during my work hours. I initially dismissed it as her typical domineering behavior, but in retrospect, there were subtle warning signs that I chose to ignore. The way Lisa would command attention whenever she entered a room, the way David's eyes would instinctively follow her, the way she would laugh a little too loudly at his jokes and casually touch his arm. Lisa even started showing up in our neighborhood around the same time David began spending increasingly late nights at the lab. I remember one of the last moments of perceived normalcy before the storm broke. I was upstairs in my childhood bedroom, lost in thought while examining old photographs hanging on the wall. Amongst them I noticed several glitzy photos of Lisa prominently displayed, relegating my graduation photo to the bottom right. It was a poignant representation of my perceived standing within the family. But what came next? Everything changed. Update. Regarding Michael, that coffee date ended up into something I never would have imagined. We began discussing our joint project over video calls. These business-related conversations turned into lengthy discussions on anything from childhood dreams to beloved books. Michael found my passion for academics fascinating, unlike my family. There was no plan for our first date. We were going over the project while he was in town for another conference. We both were aware that we were hungry. Eventually, we found ourselves in a small Italian eatery where we chatted and shared a plate of pasta until the waiters began stacking chairs. I was particularly struck by how different he seemed from David. Michael read my most recent research publication when I mentioned it. He returned with insightful questions. With refreshing candor, he discussed his professional struggles, such as a recent project that had gone over its budget. When he inquired about my family, his genuine desire prompted me to open up despite my reluctance. I filled him in on everything, including Lisa, my parents' partiality, and the disastrous engagement party. He listened without any uncomfortable answers or attempts to protect familial relationships. He then showed me that he understood by sharing his own experience with a competitive brother. Although our joint endeavor is progressing nicely, we have taken care to keep our personal and professional relationships apart. We mostly see each other on the weekends because his department is in a different state. The distance has been beneficial since it has allowed us to naturally build trust. He asked me to meet his family last weekend. Considering my past, I was afraid, but it was not what I had anticipated. I was welcomed right once by his mother, who shared stories about Michael's early architectural efforts and showed me his awkward childhood photos. We've heard about your research work, Linda said, pulling me aside. Michael is constantly praising your brilliance. It was expressed with sincere pride and interest rather than comparison or jealousy. I received an offer at work that would allow me to work closer to Michael's university. His initial reaction was, "That's incredible. Describe the research opportunities. I was ecstatic and said nothing about what it meant for us. I still haven't agreed to the job. I'm hesitant to make significant life adjustments for a romance after everything that happened with my family and David. Knowing that Michael would be there for me, I feel that I can base this choice on what's best for my career. My grandmother Martha met him and approved of him. Simply he sees you, not who he wants you to be but who you are. It has been quiet. I haven't heard from Lisa or my parents in months. Healing entails letting go of those who don't value you. I opened my email and started composing a letter to Michael regarding a joint study project I was considering. Perhaps this was the start of something. Update 2. My last update regarding Michael was 3 months ago. A lot has transpired. I agreed to work at the university close to Michael's. My research team welcomed this change and we have established a method for remote communication. I took my time and properly planned everything. Last weekend I was preparing dinner with him. Instead of the butter he was holding a little box. He didn't get down on one knee or give a long soliloquy. You know how we've been talking about combining lab design with research efficiency. Well, I've also been considering merging our lives. What are your thoughts? The ring was different from the gaudy one David had given me. It was exquisite and simple. I know your work is important to you. A matching desk lamp is included with a ring for use during late-night research sessions. I said yes, simultaneously crying and laughing. We are invited to an engagement celebration by Michael's parents. Linda has been kind. Michael offered we forget the party entirely. But we're having a small gathering, close friends and family because I don't want my past to control my future. Richard sent me an unexpected email. He said he's doing well with his new companion and praised me. He appears content. Hearing from him was strangely therapeutic. Martha is overjoyed. She gave me a hug and muttered, "This one's a keeper." She is correct. The small things show how much Michael cares. My parents learned about the engagement. Mom left a voicemail stating that they would like to participate and make amends. I have not answered. It's preferable to keep some doors closed. Update 3. My engagement update was 2 months ago. I must convey the unexpected turn the wedding preparations have taken. We were organizing a small ceremony at the lakefront home of Michael's family. Linda has been fantastic. She has respected our wishes. Only family members, close friends, and co-workers who truly support us were on the guest list. Then I got an email yesterday. My mother wrote she and dad decided to invite Lisa to the wedding. She's your only sister. Family should be together on special days. I called Michael. Whatever you want to do, I'm with you. We have the day, not them. I told my grandmother Martha. She became enraged. They have no shame. I knew I had to deal with this on my own. Before sending it I wrote and revised my response multiple times. Mom and Dad, I made it plain that I didn't want Lisa to attend my wedding. This cannot be discussed. You won't be accepted either. Eleanor reacted to the long email about forgiving others and letting go. Michael has had support from his parents. Linda called to reassure me that only those invited would be allowed entry to the location due to security measures. Michael's brother James volunteered to deal with any unwelcome visitors. My research team offered to surround me with a protective circle during the wedding. Dr. Anderson offered to accompany me. Last night Michael proposed that we alter the location or even go on an elopement. I'm sticking to our original intentions while taking extra safety measures. Individual QR codes will be included in the invitations. Security will be in place and most importantly our chosen family and real friends will be present. Last weekend my grandmother assisted me in choosing my wedding gown. She said something that made me cry as I stood in front of the mirror. "Dear, you're gleaming. Because you're at last free to be who you are, not because of the outfit. I'm more resilient than I was previously. I'm anxious about what Lisa might try. There is more to our wedding than just Michael and I becoming husband and wife. It's about choosing genuine love over poisonous familial relationships, happiness over drama, and tranquility over upheaval." Update 4. Lisa appeared to my wedding and was pregnant. Despite our safety procedures she entered through a service entrance thanks to our parents. Linda hurried in with a pale face. "I'm sorry, Eleanor. Your mother made a fuss about not excluding an expectant woman when we attempted to stop them. My parents had put Lisa in the front row. Michael sent his brother James to deal with the problem." I felt sick when I saw the same smug expression on her face that I had witnessed at my engagement party with David. I turned to face the mirror. My wrist was adorned with a handcrafted bracelet fashioned by my research team. The exquisite clothing grandmother Martha had assisted. A lovely necklace including a little microscope pendant. "What do you want to do?" when I called Michael. "They can be taken out or we can put it off." "I support you. I had allowed them to dictate my happiness all my life, not today. We're getting married. They can stay but I'm done letting them write my story." The ceremony got underway. Dr. Anderson escorted me down the aisle. Everything vanished when I saw Michael. We exchanged vows that we had written ourselves. The reception followed. I was surprised by what transpired next. Lisa pretended to be the maid of honor and got to her feet holding a glass of champagne. She described how she had saved me from terrible mistakes. Michael's fingers clasped mine. My research team stiffening up. Linda was getting up. I was able to fight my own fights without assistance. Calmly I stood holding my own glass. I think it's time for the bride to make a toast of her own. That merits an update of its own. Speaking your truth with dignity might be the best form of retaliation. Update 5. Here is what transpired when I made my toast after my previous update. As I stood there staring at my sister's arrogant face, I experienced peace. I started by saying, for those who don't know me well, I'm a scientist. We work with truth, so allow me to share some truths. My sister was in bed with my then fiancé. My parents were more concerned with preserving Lisa's reputation than with my wounded heart. Calm, her husband got to his feet. The baby, is that why you've been avoiding the paternity test? Lisa placed a hand over her growing tummy. I went on speaking stead, there has always been a trend in my family. Lisa's happiness comes first. They pleaded with me to remain silent after she ruined my first engagement. They helped her get in when she arrived here without permission, but today, I said, is about true family. The type that makes you stronger rather than weak. My research group, who take pride in my accomplishment, Michael's family, who embrace me with unmatched warmth, my grandmother, who never failed to recognize me for who I am. Tom was the first to go. My mother was crying as my parents follow. My grandmother got up and held up her glass, to Elena and Michael, to truth, to real love, and to the family we chose. The remainder of the reception was excellent. Everyone relaxed. My study team practiced a surprise dance. Tom had requested a paternity test and filed for divorce. For once I didn't feel obligated to assist in picking up the pieces. Update 6. A year has passed since my wedding. Michael and I are expecting our first child. My first emotion upon seeing the positive test result was one of terror. Michael wrapped his arms around me and said, this kid's going to have the best mom. The family of Michael and Linda has been amazing. Linda was thrilled about my latest research article as well as the baby. I've heard tidbits of information regarding Lisa's situation from my grandmother Martha. Tom's suspicion that the baby wasn't his was validated by the paternity test. She is currently trying to start again while living with our parents. Michael's statement, consequences aren't cruel, they're just truth in action. I'm doing well with my research. Michael and I work together to build a new laboratory. Our baby will have a dedicated space. My parents still make an effort to connect. I'm not ready, but they want to be involved in their grandchild's life. As I reflect on my path, I see that responsibility or blood relationships aren't the key to creating a meaningful family. It's about finding people that love you for who you are. Martha comes to visit. Although life isn't flawless, it is delightful. Thank you for watching. Looking back on everything, do you believe I handled the situation appropriately given the circumstances? Your honest feedback is greatly appreciated. I am eager to hear your perspectives and learn from your insights as I continue to navigate this complex chapter of my life, and I am forever grateful for the support this community has given me.